Hello and welcome to another Transfer Talk episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm your host for today's show. It's been some time since we had a Transfer Talk show. Euro 2024 has taken all of the limelight, and rightly so, as we're being entertained with some fantastic games so far in the tournament. But we need to take some light onto potential transfer dealings that could happen in the coming weeks. The Premier League fixtures have also been released, so that would build some excitement for the new season. So let's go through some of the latest transfer rumours circulating the internet. We'll start with Michael Olise to Chelsea. Now, the way this rumour is being reported, it seems like it's almost a done deal. As you can see on the screen, I haven't changed the arrow to green as I don't think it's that close, or the way it's been perceived in the public eye right now. The player and Chelsea may have had discussions and could possibly have agreed personal terms. However, there's no clarification if Chelsea are placing a bid or Olise does have a release clause. I don't think he does, as there's been some speculation today that Chelsea are trying to add Trevor Chalobah and Noni Madueke as part of the deal. The two players would actually be a good addition to the Crystal Palace team. Madueke would be a natural replacement for Olise, and Chalobah could easily slot in defence, or he could even be a replacement for Gehi, who has been linked with a move away from the club. Unfortunately, I do see this still happening, which is disappointing for me, as I really rate Olise and would love to see him at my club, Liverpool. But I think a big factor for him to join Chelsea is that he would be staying in London, and that would appeal to the player a lot more rather than moving up north. He'll also get a nice salary, which goes without saying, and will most likely be one of the first names on the team sheet. So let's see what the final details of the deal could be. The reported fee is around 60 million, but if a couple of players are involved in the deal, the transfer fee could be lowered. But remains to be seen how this deal is concluded. Next rumour is Armando Broja, another Chelsea-related transfer rumour, but this time it's a player who will be departing the club. And it's a bit of a shame for the player, as he's been struggling with fitness after picking up a few injuries. A move to Everton actually could be great for his development. If he stays fit, he would be a real asset for the team. Strong and quick on the ball, he's a lethal finisher in front of goal. He's exactly what the Toffees need in their team. The fee is rumoured to be around 30 million, which is a good deal in my opinion. The move will certainly happen, so don't be surprised if we hear official news very soon. Now, this is a bit of a surprise for me, as I thought Palhinha was destined to join Bayern Munich, but I think Fulham have changed their stance on the transfer deal, and it could result to Bayern walking away from concluding a deal. But therefore, it looks like Palhinha is picking up interest in the Premier League, and one team that has strongly been linked with the player is Manchester United. My thoughts on the rumour? I think he'll be a fantastic signing for the Red Devils. He's the real number 6 that they've been lacking in their team. Amrabat has been pretty shocking to be fair, and Casemiro has been hot and cold last season. In fact, he could be on the move this summer, with the Saudi Pro League being a possible destination. The reported fee is £60 million. I think that would be a deal worth proceeding with. He's a Premier League proven midfielder, and he will slot in straight away. Question marks would be surrounding his age, as he's 28 years old. But for me, that means he's on the verge of hitting his prime years. So if I was Manchester United, I would try and get this deal done as soon as possible. Now, an interesting rumour popped up a few days ago, and that was Jonathan Tah possibly joining Bayern Munich this summer. He's had a fantastic season for Bayer Leverkusen, helping them win their first league title and also winning the DFB Boko. So, like normal Bundesliga tradition, if a team that's not Bayern Munich wins the league, Bayern Munich always end up signing a player from the current champions, and it looks like Jonathan Tah could be that guy for Bayern Munich this summer. Now, you're probably thinking, what relation does this have with the Premier League? Well, the current rumor is that new Bayern Munich manager Vincent Kompany has identified Jonathan Tah as his first choice centre-back signing. However, if it's not possible, the next player on his list is Chelsea's Levi Colwill. Now, Colwill has been strongly linked with a move to Liverpool in this window, but Chelsea may be reluctant to sell the player to a rival, even though Liverpool haven't been in any mid-table battles for the last couple of seasons. So Chelsea may favour to sell the player abroad instead, but there has been no indication to say that Colwill wants to leave the club. So it remains to be seen what his stance is. But so this is one for me that I feel like it should be kept an eye on. It could have some truth to it, or it could be complete nonsense altogether. Now, Liverpool fans, do you remember this guy? We were heavily linked to him last season. Some people were staying up in the early mornings to watch this guy in the Libertadores. Well, times have changed, and it doesn't look like he's a target for the club. But another team that has been linked with him alongside Liverpool since last summer was Fulham, and they've still maintained an interest in the player. I think he's been identified as Palhinha's replacement, but because Palhinha's move fell through last summer, they've actually held off signing Andre, and here we are 1 year later. Palhinha is linked with a move away from Fulham. Is it time for Andre to join Fulham this summer? I think it might happen. I can see the deal happening, and I don't think the transfer fee will break the bank. The fee is reportedly around 20 to 30 million pounds. So let's see what happens with this rumor. I think the deal will happen probably closer to the deadline day, as they'll probably need to sell players before they can add to their squad. I just got a comment here from Daz. It says, big up Ozzy, hope you're well today. Big up Daz. All good, thank you. Hope you are well as well. Now, Pierre-Emile Hojberg looks like he could be leaving Spurs this summer, as there's interest mounting for the Danish midfielder. He's currently linked with a move to Fenerbahce. This means a possible reunion with his former Spurs manager in Jose Mourinho. There's also interest from Atletico Madrid, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. Two interesting proposals, and you've got a case for both teams. The good thing for Hojberg would be that he will be playing Champions League football next season, regardless of what team he joins from the two. If I was to make a prediction, I can see him joining Fenerbahce. I think he'll get more game time there under Mourinho, and he'll be playing regular European football. Next rumour, Martin Dubravka is being linked with a move to Celtic. He's been quite heavily involved last season for Newcastle, as Nick Pope picked up an injury, but his chances may be slim next season, as Pope will be expected to make his return in the near future. But not only that, they are in pursuit of signing a first-choice keeper in this window, with the likes of Aaron Ramsdale being linked to the club. So a move elsewhere at this stage of his career would be worthwhile. And according to reports, he actually is in favour of a move to Celtic, and rightly so. It's a club with a passionate fan base, and they're always strong contenders for the league title every single season, and they play Champions League football. So it's a win-win for both club and player. This rumour has been circulating for some time, and quite frankly, I don't know why. Chelsea are in hot pursuit to sign John Duran from Aston Villa. Now, he only joined last summer, but has played a bit part role for the Villains. He made 23 appearances in the league last season and scored 5 times. Now, to put it into perspective, he played 462 minutes all season, which is pretty much like playing 5 full matches, which is not a lot in the course of one season. But Chelsea really like the player and seem to be very keen to sign in this window. If he is the only striker that they sign in the window, I think Chelsea will remain as a mid-table team. Might sound harsh, but that's just my opinion. Now on to the next rumour, and this seems like something out of FC24. Juventus are rumoured to be favourites to sign Aston Villa's Douglas Luiz, but apparently Juventus are throwing in a couple of players as part of the deal. The two players that are involved are Weston McKennie and Samuel Illing Jr. But I read earlier today that the deal has hit a bit of a hurdle as Weston McKennie is stalling on the move. This is why I was making the reference to FC24. These deals rarely happen in real life. I can see Douglas Luiz moving to Juventus, but it won't be involving a swap deal or any sort of deal involving other players. I think it'll be a straight cash sort of transfer in the region of 60 million is what is reported. Another interesting rumor in regards to this is that Douglas Luiz's girlfriend, Alicia Lehmann, who also plays for Aston Villa, is reportedly moving to Juventus. Now, the rumor is that Douglas Luiz had made this request to Juventus that his girlfriend joins him at the club. And I think it's probably the first time a couple are moving to a club together. So that's definitely one for the record books. Now, this is an interesting rumor as Max Wieffer has strongly been linked to a move to Liverpool, where it looks like AC Milan may be his next destination, who are rumoured to be in talks with Feyenoord to finalise the deal. Now, Liverpool fans, how would you feel if Wieffer joins AC Milan? Will it be one that we'll regret in the future? I think it could be. He's very highly regarded and he's on the verge of hitting that next level, in my opinion. So I'm feeling like a little kid where I want this player to sign for my team, and that's probably just because another big club is trying to sign him at the same time. So no mature way of looking at it, but that's how it is sometimes. I feel like when the player is linked to another club, then you feel like you need to get that player a bit more. So I'm sure a lot of fans feel the same, but a move to AC Milan would actually be good for the player. It's a league that will suit his skill set, and they have a great history of Dutch players in the past. So a nice connection there. A player that has been featured at pretty much some point in every transfer talk show that I've done so far, and today is no different. Vincenzo Summerville is rumoured to be on the move, and according to sources, Brighton have begun talks for a potential 40 million move. It's an interesting one as Brighton do have the likes of Mitoma in their team, but I guess Summerville could provide some competition for that left wing position. However, having said that, I'm not sure if the club will be the right fit for the player. They've just appointed a new manager in Fabian Hosseler, so there will be some uncertainty in regards to the direction of the club. The manager will really need to sell the club to Summerville to give him assurances that he will be first choice, and that will possibly sway his decision to join Brighton. So let's see what happens with this one. Now, Joshua Zirkzee is a player we spoke about and analysed last week, and I'll be honest, he's a player I like the look of. Pause. But there's a new rumour this week, and it's surrounding Manchester United, who are linked with the attacker. Now, hear me out. I don't think this move would be suitable for the player. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Liverpool fan, but I have my reasons to explain why. Zirkzee is a young striker with huge potential, so he's in the same boat as Højlund. So I believe the club should be looking at a striker that has more experience rather than having two young strikers fighting for a place in the team. Zirkzee can also play a wide role, but I think you're reducing his impact on the pitch as he's more lethal in a central role. Also, Bologna will demand a hefty transfer fee for him as he's one of their star players, and to be fair, they're in no urgency to sell him either. They've just qualified for Champions League football, so they pretty much tick all the boxes in terms of making sure he stays at the club. And honestly, I do think staying at the club for another season would be worthwhile for the player rather than moving away. I think at this stage of his career, he needs game time. He has been at clubs like Bayern Munich and didn't really get much of a shoe-in. So this is the club where he can actually fulfill his potential and then maybe move on in the future. But in regards to Manchester United, I don't think it's the right move for him at this stage of his career. But that doesn't stop Manchester United getting linked with another striker, and they are pursuing the signature of Jonathan David from Lille. Now, the Canadian striker has been at Lille for some time, and at 24 years of age, it seems like he's ready to move abroad and ply his trade elsewhere. Is Manchester United the right step in his career? You're going to say I sound like a hater, but I'm not so sure. Similar to Zirkzee, they're both roughly the same age, 23, 24. I think Manchester United need to sign a striker with experience in front of goal, a striker that Hojberg can actually learn off from as well. But having said that, Jonathan David is a slightly different profile in comparison to Zirkzee. He can play as a number 9 and also as a number 10. So in a 4-2-3-1 formation, Jonathan David can play as a number 10 and then have Hojberg up top on his own. So at the minute, it's all speculation, but it will be interesting to see which striker Manchester United sign in the summer. I mentioned Noni Madueke earlier in the show as part of the possible deal to Palace that involves Olise going the other way to Chelsea. But I'm not so sure if there's any truth to that rumour. But this one makes a lot more sense as Newcastle are in the hunt for a quality right winger, and I think Madueke would do really well at the club. I don't think he's been given a fair chance at Chelsea, but whenever he's played, he's looked very impressive, very lively on the ball, and he can shoot from distance. I think this would be a good move for both player and club. However, the transfer fee could be a stumbling block as Chelsea would be seeking for a fee in the region of 40 million and upwards. So let's see where Madueke ends up, as it looks like it won't be at transfer bid at the start of the season. Next rumour, Matheus Sule. Now, if you're not familiar with the player, it might be worth checking out some compilations because he's a very talented player and he's been dubbed as the next Dybala. Now, they definitely share some similarity in terms of style of play, hence why he's been linked with a move away from his parent club, which is Juventus. A number of Premier League teams have been credited in showing interest, but the strongest link is coming from West Ham United, who could be looking for a Paqueta replacement. I think he'd be a good signing for the Hammers. Sule can play on either wings, but it's more effective in that number 10 role. So I think this deal will happen. And the reported fee is around 25 million, which is not a lot in this day and age. Now, this name may ring a bell to some, especially if you're following the Euros. Kevin Danso is an Australian international, and he was, in fact, the defender that broke Kylian Mbappe's nose over the weekend. Not the kind of buzz you want around your name, but it is what it is. The Lens defender is being linked with a move to Manchester United, and apparently Rio Ferdinand has co-signed the potential signing to help with the rebuild at the club. He was also named in the Team of the Year for Ligue 1 last season, so he's definitely a player that possesses good qualities. Do I see the former Southampton defender returning to the Premier League? I think so. Because it didn't go well for him at Southampton, I think he'd want to prove a point, and a return looks like it could be on the cards. Now, I didn't even want to mention this rumour, but let's address it. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk is being linked with a move to Al Nassr in the Saudi Pro League. Now, I understand the player has a year remaining on his contract, but there's no way Van Dijk would be interested in moving to Saudi Arabia at this stage of his career. For me, he can play for a good number of years at the highest level. So this rumour is complete nonsense, and Virgil van Dijk will be remaining at Liverpool next season. Now, this is an interesting rumour as Tomori is being linked with a move back to the Premier League, and the destination seems to be Newcastle. Now, Newcastle are definitely a club that has high ambitions to play at the highest level, but this move would be a backward step in my eyes. Tomori is at a club with a lot of heritage and history. He's very much respected and loved by the fans. So why would he consider leaving AC Milan? Some would say it could improve his chances of playing for England. Now, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but if they don't value his quality right now, why would they do it in the future? For me, they never respect the player as an individual. So, in fact, I actually think he should be in the England squad right now and probably starting in the first 11. But he's not been given the respect that he deserves over the years. So if I was Tomori, I would stay at AC Milan, continue to play for an amazing club and enjoy the lifestyle in Italy. The final rumour of the show is Pascal Gross to Dortmund. Now, he really impressed me against Scotland in the opening game of the Euros, the way he controlled the game and showcased his passing range. Whilst I was watching the game, I thought to myself, maybe he should be playing for a club that plays in the Champions League or at least European level. And surprise, surprise, the next day he gets linked with a move to Dortmund. Now, the reported fee is only 7 million, which seems very low, but that's probably due to his age. But if I was Dortmund, I would definitely make sure he's signed this summer. He would bring a lot of qualities to their midfield. He's really good in set pieces and is very clinical from the penalty spot, which is an added bonus. I think he would be a good signing, and he deserves to be playing at European level. And he's been a very consistent performer for Brighton over the years. Just got a comment here from Daz. It says, who do you think Slot will sign? At this stage, it is very, very tricky to predict. Today was his first interview. So if you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out on the Liverpool channel on YouTube. From what he said today, there've definitely been discussions in terms of signing potential players. I think a defender would be high on the list. I would like to say number 6, but the noise that I'm hearing right now, it doesn't seem like that's on the cards. But I think it's an area that Liverpool need to strengthen, and possibly another attacker playing on the right wing. Possibly an understudy for Mohamed Salah. So I think those are the 3 key areas that need to be improved on. Plus, if there's any players that depart, so you've got the likes of Kelleher being linked with a move away from the club as he wants to be a first choice keeper elsewhere, and rightly so, we'd have to sign a replacement. So I think 2 additions in terms of a centre back and number 6 is a must. And then a forward would be a bonus. I think we should probably prioritize signing someone as a long-term replacement for Salah, but it will just depend on the market. Olise would have been my first pick, but he's not. I think he's on the verge of moving to Chelsea. And Kudus would have been another one, but he looks like his transfer fee is probably going to break the bank. So interesting to see what Liverpool do, but I do feel like we need to sign, I would say, 2 to 3 players for definite, and if there's any departures, then find like-for-like replacements for them as well. So Keller has been linked to move away from the club. Luis Diaz has been heavily linked to Barcelona. So if he was to leave, we need to sign a left winger straight away. But yeah, at this stage, very uncertain in terms of who will come in. But I'd hope those 3 areas are addressed in this window. And that is the end of the show. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thanks to Daz for your comments. Appreciate your engagement as always. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Next show will be tomorrow at 7:55 p.m. as I will be doing a live watch along of Spain versus Italy. I really wanted to do the England and Denmark match as well, but unfortunately I'll be at work. But tomorrow I'll also be doing a second show, and that is the Liverpool Transfer Talk episode at 11 p.m. UK time. So make sure to tune in. You can also follow me on social media at OZZIE'S on Twitter/X, and also Aussie.ftp on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. So as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.